Hey guys, January is here and it brings with it a brand new reading year. So what's on our TBR? Hey guys, if you are new here, welcome to the Book Path. I'm Nicole, and if this isn't your first rodeo, thanks for sticking around. It is now January, well, end of December. I'm doing this very late December. Planned to do it earlier, just didn't have the energy, so we're doing it now. But we are filming for January, for a brand new year. And I wanted to go over what I will be reading and what I will be doing for January. But first, I wanted to tell you guys or show you guys a little bit of what I got over the holidays. I'm not going to show you my books. I didn't get many. I got like 2 for Christmas, and then I had found like some really great deals at other places. But I'm going to save them and do maybe a winter themed book haul, just because I know that there's some sales going on in January, and then I know February's got a lot of really good books coming out that I've been waiting for. So we might wait until then to do an actual book haul. So I'm going to show you my non-books that I got, but they still involve books. So there's only like 4 of them, but they were really cute and I really, really loved them. So first up, both of my kids had the idea of getting mommy bookmarks for Christmas. So so I ended up getting a magnetic bookmark that says "Mom" on this side, and then you turn it around and it says "You're super." So it unfolds and says, "Mom, you're super," and then it folds on. So I thought that was kind of cute. And then they also got me, this is gorgeous. I was terrified and wondering if it's gonna tear up my book pages, so I really hope it doesn't. So I'm trying to be like super gentle with it. Plus, it's metal and bendable, so I don't want to ruin it. But it's this bookmark here. And isn't that just beautiful? Like, it has this little chain with another little fox. This is like a 9-tailed fox yokai bookmark with like this little chain with a little fox mask. And so when you like put it in a book, let me just like grab a book. So you just put it in there, close it, and then the little part jingles out there. Hopefully you guys did not just see the cover of that book, because that is what we're reading for this month. But I loved it. I loved the colors. I think it's beautiful. The 9-tailed fox is one of my favorite, mythological creatures. And this was just stunningly beautiful with the cherry blossoms and the colors. So I'm like really happy, but I'm also like terrified. It's got like not sharp edges, but like edges. So I'm worried about like my pages, but I'm still going to use it. And after that, my mother-in-law ended up getting me, I think it's supposed to be a tree ornament, but it's not going to go on my tree. I'm going to put it back here. And it's a wood ornament, and it's a glass window with little books. And I just thought that was so pretty. And it's cute. And I'm like, yeah, this is not going on my tree. This is going to be like year round in the background here. So that will be going up. And then my last one, I had no idea who got it for me at first. I just got this box. And of course, when the holidays are happening, boxes just start showing up. And sometimes it's what you ordered, and sometimes it's a gift for you, and you don't know who it's from. And of course, this one didn't have a tag. But I'm not gonna lie, when I opened it, I screamed about as much as a teenage girl getting tickets and backstage passes to a BTS concert. Like, not gonna lie, I literally screamed, dropped the box, not the object, because then it would have broke. But yeah, and I loved it. I ended up finding out this was from my cousin who watches my channel. She had a baby last year, and all while she was staying at home with the baby, she had my channel on her TV, and her and the baby were watching it. So that made me feel really cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was like loved that. But she ended up gifting me this, and I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I put let me put it down here, put some color behind it, you'll be able to probably see it a little bit more. Yeah. So she got me a glass coffee mug that says "The Book Path" with some books and a coffee on it. and I'm loving it. I'm like, it's a really thick, like, not plastic, really thick glass too, which is nice because the thin ones I always feel scared that if you put too much pressure on them, they're gonna like bust. But this one's really thick, and I haven't used it yet. I've been waiting to show you guys because this is probably what I will be drinking of. Like, you really can't, like, I gotta like put my hand in there or something to see it. But this will probably be what I will be drinking my coffee and tea out of from like now on in like all future videos. I will be having this because this is now like, I'm going to have a cup mascot instead of anything else. So we're just going to have a cup mascot. But yes, I loved this. So thank you because I loved it. It's great. I can't wait to use it. It's the little things that make me so happy, you know? So now while you guys are really here, which is what are we doing in January? So one of the reasons I was waiting for so long to do this video was because I was waiting to see if there were a few readathons that I had done in previous Januaries that were going to happen. And there is one, and that of course is, let me move my hair, Final Book Support Group is coming back. It's so funny because I get this brown shirt to go with it, and I have to, you know, put a long sleeve shirt because it's freezing now. And now that my hair is back to its natural color, it just blends. Like, it almost looks like I have a hoodie to go with it, but whatever. But either way, so we are going to be doing that, but let's go ahead and get started. I'll get a little bit more into Final Book Support Group as we get to the books for that event. So first and foremost, I know I talked about it in kind of my 2024 plans video. I'll link that down below if you haven't checked it out yet. And that was that I found out a little bit about the Cocky Hero Book Club, which was kind of like a spicy romance book club. Started out with Penelope Douglas and V. Keeland, and then all these other authors kind of wrote books that have become a part of this club. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and do this, and I'm going to read the first book. Like, the first 5 books are kind of like the canon for it, and those ones you read in order, and then everything else you can just kind of read whatever. So the first book up for the Cocky Hero Book Club, I guess if you want to call it that, or what we'll be reading, is The Park Avenue Player by Penelope Ward and V. Keeland. This one is kind of like your rich guy nanny enemies to lovers almost type of romance, because you have a young girl who it looks like she gets in a car accident, like, and she gets into a car accident with none other than the guy that she's supposed to possibly interview for to become the nanny for his niece. So it's one of those kind of stories, which for me, like, the nanny romance can kind of go either way. But I am curious to see, because I have glimpsed a little bit at Penelope Douglas's books. I haven't read one fully. I've read kind of like little synopsises on like reading apps, and I really loved them. So I'm curious to finally read a Penelope Douglas book and a V. Keeland book, because I've heard really good things about that author as well. So this will be the first book that we are picking up for the Cocky Hero book series. After that, we do still have our read left over from our December-January challenge accepted jar pick, and that was Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. This, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know what Northanger Abbey is, because you've either read the book or you've seen one of the many TV adaptations. I think, what is it, A&E did a whole bunch of them, and that are really good. And I think the one with Northanger Abbey has, I'm so gonna mess up this actress' names, but is it Felicity Jones? The girl that she went on to be in the Star Wars Rogue. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but she was in the Star Wars, I think, Rogue One movies. Either way, it's got her as the main character, and this is kind of, I think, Jane Austen's book that it deals with like the gothic novels and romance. I know in the show, at least, because I've seen the show, they touch upon kind of the taboo of some spicy romances of the time, and that seems to be kind of a staple within the series as well. But what I am happy for is it is a shorter book of Jane Austen's, which will be great because there are a lot of books for January to get done. So that one will be the challenge accepted pick that we will be continuing, because I haven't had the chance to read it in December. So after that, we are going to be doing the final book support group. Like I said, this one is going to be a weekend. I think this is round 10 that we're doing. But this is, if you don't know, Final Book Support Group is a readathon that's hosted by Steph over at Steph Loves. I will go ahead and link her announcement video down below as well. And basically the goal of this is to finish those series that you've started. You know, the ones where you're like 1 or 2 books away from finishing it, and do not mind the light because it is overcast, so it's fluctuating all over the place. So lighting might look good one moment and bad another. We're just going to deal with it. But basically, sometimes she'll have prompts for you to do the readathon. Sometimes she won't. It's just kind of a read whatever you want. That's part of a series, finish a series, continuation, anything like that. This time she does have some prompts. This is also a weekend read along. So it's from the 12th through the 14th. So I think it's Friday the 12th through Sunday the 14th. And I don't know how much reading I will get done because it is a small amount of time, but we're gonna try for it anyway. And I'm just gonna shut down that weekend and just read that weekend, like do nothing but read, which is something I haven't really done for Final Book Support Group. I've read, but I haven't just done reading. Like I've done cleaning and things like that. So I'm gonna try to get all my cleaning and everything done before that weekend so that I can just hunker down and read and get through these. So she has a couple of self-care apps, or self-care prompts, I would say, like taking part in a sprint, posting your TBR, just doing something for you, which are kind of like, I don't want to call them freebies because you do have to do something, but they're non-reading prompts. So she has those. I'm not going to get into those because they're just, like I said, it's participating in a prompt. I maybe will do like a face mask or something if for the self-care or something like that. But we're going to go ahead and do the book prompts. So for the first book prompt, it is to read a subscription box sequel. So I don't get any subscription boxes yet. I'm like, I would love to, but I don't get them yet, which she said it's fine. You can pick a book that's being given in a book subscription box, or one that's been in a book subscription box that is a sequel. So this one was a little bit hard for me. I almost want to just change it out and not pick that and just pick like something else, which you can do. But then I remembered that my mother-in-law brought this over for me to read, and that's Iron Flame. And I know, and because of her video, she said Iron Flame is going to be in a subscription box. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is a nice one. I mean, it's not, I've seen like other ones with like really great spread edges. This one is still nice because we don't get a lot of books with sprayed edges, but it's just like, you know, basic black cover. But this is the sequel to Fourth Wing, which I did read and I really did enjoy it. So I'm curious to continue with the journey and see where it goes. And obviously people have already read it and they're posting on Instagram and everything. I'm trying to avoid it because they're talking about how this book like breaks them and now they have to wait. So I'm assuming it's going to be just as good as Fourth Wing. So that will be my reading prompt for that. Next up, we have to read a graphic novel or a manga. I don't have a lot of those. So what I'm going to do, I'm leaving that blank for now. I have a few listed on my Libby app, so I'm probably just going to go for whichever one's available and that I'm in the mood for at the time. And that will be my graphic novel or manga read. So I won't have it yet. Stay tuned for wrap-ups and as we're going on, because I will read something. I'll pick something. Next up is we have to read an anticipated sequel. And of course, I'm going to pick a Katie Robert book, and we are going to do Twisted Secrets, which is, I believe this is book 3 in her, I can't remember the name of the series. It's like the Irish Mafia series. And so we followed in the first book, it was a merger of 2 families. In the second book, it was the sister of the main male character from the first book. And in this one, it's one of the brothers from the main male in the first book. So it's all their family. The O'Malleys basically is the family name. And so this one, you got introduced to Killian in the first book. He is one of the O'Malley brothers. But in the second book, you got a small little glimpse of Olivia, who's kind of this like bartender at, I don't know, it felt like a biker bar. and they kind of had this battle of wits between them. So I don't think it's enemies to lovers. I think it's just kind of like the witty minds and the um maybe they've been hurt, so they don't really want to get into the relationships. But that's basically what this one is. It's the story of them, and obviously it should probably have a little bit of spice in there. And it's just really going to be about Killian trying to open up, because I think he's kind of like a playboy. And I think Olivia pegs him as that. So it's going to be kind of one of those like prove yourself, prove your worth type of stories, with kind of what I'm assuming is going to be a really strong independent female character in the female bartender, Olivia. So that's going to be my anticipated sequel read. Next up, of course, is to read a final book, and this is a final book in the series. And so for that, I am reading A Curse for True Love. This is the third and final book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I really loved this kind of like, for me, it's like a fairy tale winter wonderland nutcrackerish almost world with like all the colors that are in it. But it's been really interesting so far, and I have my ideas of where I think this is going. But I don't want to give away too much, because then that might like ruin the plot of this, or it might like ruin the plot for you guys to read the books. And I do recommend them. It's one of my more favorite series. And so we're gonna go back on the journey with Evangeline and what is it? The Prince of the Joke, yeah, Jax, the Prince of Hearts. So it's kind of got, I don't want to give it away, because it's hard to talk about series like after the first book, because you don't want to give away any of the plot points and spoil it. But basically you have witty banter, sort of an enemies to lovers kind of thing coming on. Curses, like I said, a wintry magical world that is great. There's been vampires, like a couple of twists and turns, plottings going on. And then, of course, the last book left off on a heck of a cliffhanger that might make one of the characters you thought was really good, maybe they're not so good after all. So we will have to see in this book. That's about all I'm going to tell you guys on this one, but this is going to be my final book pick for that. So next up, I did a poll pick, and I did it across like Twitter and Instagram, and then I had it up on YouTube for a little bit. And you're supposed to just pick a couple books and have people pick from it. And I wanted to do a twist and have people either have me pick a final book, another final book, have me pick a continuing book to continue a series, or to be truly mean to myself, and despite me keep saying that I need to finish series, start a brand new series and pick up that, because I do have a lot of first books that I would love to read. And it was literally a 50-50 split across the board, with people wanting me to continue a series and then wanting to do a final book. So I looked at it and I thought, well, you know what, in honor of it being actual final book, let's just close the door on a series. I'm gonna go ahead and pick another final book to finish, because there is another continuation prompt to do. So for that final book, I am going to pick up Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim. This is the second book in her Spin the Dawn series, the duology, where you have a young girl. It's got kind of an Asian mythological background to it. And you have a young girl who is disguising herself as her brother, who their father is a tailor, and the emperor is trying to find a tailor to create these kind of mythical gowns for his soon-to-be wife. And she goes there and she has to compete in disguise, obviously, against all these other much more well-to-do tailors and seamstresses. And she has a little bit of magic, a little bit of help, and the king's advisor, who is kind of magical himself, kind of helps her, and she doesn't understand why. And she starts to, as the story unfolds, and they go on this adventure to collect these near impossible items to make these dresses. And so she So I'm not going to give it away because obviously Pop Point, that was the plot of the first one. I'm not going to tell you what happened or if she gets everything or whatever. But this is the sequel to it on kind of where these characters go. So we're going to go ahead and finish this, and then that will be another series or duology, trilogy, whatever, done, which is kind of one of our goals for this new year. So that will be that. And then for continuation station, I'm going to go ahead and do another manga just because this is a weekend that we're trying to get these done. And let me see if I can, like this right here, like this might be doable for like a weekend, you know, one a day if you can. This is kind of pushing it. So to have like another book on top is going to be a lot for me because, you know, I have kids. So I can't just like bundle up in a chair and like do nothing for the whole weekend, no matter how much I would love to. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave that one blank as well. I will probably read a continuation of whatever manga I pick up for the first manga prompt. So that way it's an easy one because I think I can get through like a manga in like an hour at the most, probably a lot less than that. So that will be what I'm trying to achieve for Final Book Support Group. We will see if that happens because like I said, I'm going to try to plan, get myself to be as sitting in one spot reading that weekend as possible, and we'll see if that happens. But on top of that, the other things that I wanted to get is I wanted to start doing more series, and I still have the books from my the indie book festival that I went to back in October 2023. And so I wanted to start finding a way to fit those into videos, which is why in my 2024 goals, I said I was going to kind of not participate in as many readathons as I have in the past, just to give me some time to do that. So for the first series, I'm going to try to tackle, which I should be able to do since everything else I've pretty much been showing you, except for the first two books, have been for Final Book Support Group. I should have some time to get some of these done. So the first series that I have is the Ancient Passages series by Sutton Bishop, who I met at the Indie Festival, and that is these 3 books right here. We have Afraid to Fall, Afraid to Hope, and Afraid to Love. And these all take place, like this takes place in like South American jungles. This is like Morocco, Middle East, and then this is like Tuscany, Italy scene. But they all have kind of like, the way it was described to me is they all have romance. They all have kind of like treasure hunting, history, archaeology kind of things. So that was really what kind of like threw me. Plus when I told her, I was like, some of these covers were just, the covers are gorgeous. And I've got to say, out of all of them, I told her, I was like, this guy right here, I called him my teddy bear, and she had told me that that's basically his character type. So pegged him. That really sounded bad. So I figured that one out. So he might be my favorite so far, and I haven't even read the books. But like I said, it's 3 different love stories between 3 different couples. I don't know if they all come together as one group or if they're just meant to be part of the same world but different stories in the same world. So we will see. But it is the 3 books, and they're not like super, you know, they're like 320 pages. So they're not super thick or anything like that. She also did sign, you know, each of the books for me while I was there. So I have this. I think I might have bookmarks. I know she gave me a magnet that's like back on my tray. And then I think I might, let me grab it. She even gave me coasters for the series, which I might use with my new BookPath cup, so I can have my coffee in my BookPath cup on this while I read the series. I mean, is that a bit much? I don't know, maybe, but why not? I'm gonna do it anyway. So we're gonna go ahead and tackle this series, and then I will probably do a video for just this series on how that went. And then the next series is another series by an author from the Indie Festival that I went to, and Had a blast. She signed all of these as well for me. And that is the Coven series by Birdie Rivers. So right now, as far as I know, it's these 4 books. But when she told me about what they are, I already, without even reading them, was like, you are going to write more. Like, there are going to be spin-offs, right? And what she basically told me is that there is this world where there's all these different gods and these kind of covens of magic users for each of these gods. And so this series right here is the people who serve the god of death, as far as I believe it is. Yeah. So this is about the Coven of Crow and Shadows, which is a special coven that works for death. So the other thing is that this is all like a family line. So if you've seen How Crazy I Go for Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunter series, and you read like the Infernal Devices, and then you read the Lost Hours, and you find out those are like the kids, and then it just kind of trickles down. Even though it's like their own little mini series within this world, each series is kind of the next generation of the family tree. It's the same thing for this. So in this one, in the first book, which is The Coven of Crow and Shadows, you have a girl, Wolf Shifter, who is supposed to set to be like the Luna of her pack. But now she basically finds herself in a really bad situation, and in walks Zane, who is kind of a magic user, a warlock, if you will, and he wants to claim her as his familiar. And so it's kind of that. There is obviously romance between the two of them, and how they have to, work to go through all the things that are going on. Like, obviously they're little. She wants to be back with her wolf. She doesn't know, what's going on. She's trying not to fall in love with Zane. And then Zane serves, as part of the special coven, that he's actually really high up on the food chain in there. And then obviously whatever political things are going on between the different covens and all sorts of things. So that's going to be that one. And then you're going to have, I'm not going to give it away because the very first sentence on the back kind of gives away what happens in the first one. So, but this is going to be the children of this one. And then it just goes, I don't want to give it away because I'm reading the back of these and I'm it's kind of spoiling it for me, so I don't want to read them anymore. But so you're going to have all of these books, which, like I said, it's the Coven of Crow and Shadow, the Coven of Crow and the Coven of Crow and Shadow, Book 1, Legacy, Book 2, Ghost Opera, which honestly, the bottom of that gives me huge Phantom of the Opera vibes, and I'm loving it. Mayhem and Death, and then The New Era. So, like I said, she has thought about playing around with adding spin-offs and about the other characters, because she started telling me about this world. I'm from what she was saying, it was a fascinating world that I'm already, I was okay, I need to get not just the first one, I need all of them now. So hopefully I can read these, let you guys know about it, and then you guys can go off and read it if it, I'm assuming it's going to be great. And then we'll just protest her to increase the series, which, she'll love. It's okay. But anyway, so I'm going to be reading that and then probably doing a review on that. And if that isn't enough, I do have a few other ideas for things that I would do towards the end of the month if I'm able to get through all of those, but I don't want to put them on my TBR yet because it's a lot. Even though they're thinner books and most of them are romance, it is a lot. But that is basically what my plans are for the month of January. If I can get these, let me see. Okay. So we have, this is what it's kind of looking right now. Plus we're going to have Northanger Abbey, which will be that's a thinner one. And then we're going to have the other one, which is 400 pages. So I'm my hand's shaking. So that is basically what we are looking at for the month of January. We are starting off strong. It is a new year, and I know I didn't make my 100 books for 2023. So I am now coming back with a vengeance, and it will be mine. And I am fully, I know I set my goal at 100 books for 2024, but I am hoping to smash it and get more than that and do that, because now I've got some tricks up my sleeve. I've got some know-how power that, yeah, I'm hoping it's going to help us and, have some fun this year and read some awesome stuff and get through like the many, many, many books on my list. But that is how it's going to go. And let me know if you guys have read any of these, what your thoughts were on them, what you are most excited for on this. And let me know how you guys are doing. Are you guys staying healthy as we move into this new year? Let me know if you guys have like some New Year's resolutions. What is your New Year's resolutions? I mean, I know mine is the obvious to get in shape, just like every year that it doesn't happen, but we're gonna make it happen this year. But to stay in shape, to read and do my goals and get a little bit more know-how-y on the channel and make some fun content for you guys this year. But let me know what your guys' goals are. Give me one of your goals down in the comments below. Let me know if there's a specific book that you are waiting in 2024 to read, that is your goal, is to get that book and read it. Otherwise, if you want to just let me know you were here, leave like a fireworks emoji or something in the comments below. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to this new year. I hope you guys are too. But stay safe, stay warm, stay healthy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.